Hello to all. Before I start, I want to extend my gratitude to IMC for initiating e-conferences like these and giving us the opportunity to present our thoughts across through this platform. Thank you, team of IMC 2021. I, Vanshika Bhatia, and Mr. Aditya Gupta from Amity University will be presenting the case. Our topic for the case is an analysis of digital media innovation of non-profit organization in troubled times. First, I'll just introduce you to the idea behind writing this case. As we all know that social media has become very important recently and even more with the beginning of the pandemic. Be it businesses, educational institutions or companies, everyone is trying to level up their creative game to survive in an online world. And this is because of one simple logic, and that is that they put their resources where the people are present. And in our case, that is social media. I mean, imagine there are 376 million active users in social media, and that is a huge mass. But unfortunately, we do not see many non-profit organizations winning in the digital space, and there seems to be some sort of a missing connection between social media and non-profits. Now, I will talk about the objectives of this case. There are two main objectives of this case. The first one is to analyze the digital adoption of 100 non-profit organizations in India so that we get the real insight of where they stand. To achieve this, we did a primary study of 100 registered non-profit organizations in India. These organizations were randomly chosen from the NGO Darpan website, and data was collected for 6 factors which have been used in the past studies to understand the digital adoption of non-profits. After that, an average of the data collected for each factor was analyzed. I will briefly discuss all the factors after a few slides. And then, interestingly, the first objective also revealed interesting insights about the second objective, which is to identify some suitable practices which can help nonprofits optimize their social media activities for good. This is because while going through all these social media channels for around 100 nonprofits, we came to identify certain practices which were working and not working for organizations on social media. Now we have the 6 factors which were studied to analyze the digital adoption of these non-profits. These are social media platform adoption, social media widget integration, follower size, content cohesion, effective use of social media, involvement of audience. Now we'll explore them one by one. Social media platform adoption. This factor indicates what percentage of nonprofits are using the top 5 social media channels in India. We found out that 79% of the organization had an active Facebook account, which still lies on the positive scale. But for all other channels, as you can see in the infographic in front of you, lie on the lower scale, indicating how there is still a reluctance from these organizations to even take the first step, which is to establish their presence on these channels. Social media widget integration. Here we try to find out to see if these non-profit organizations have a social media widget, which is a button which, when clicked on the website, directs the users to the social media channel. We found out that only 59% of these organizations had widget installed, whereas only 45% had enabled widget opening on a separate link without losing the website link, which is very important to be activated as nobody wants their users to get away from their website so soon. Hence, a lower percentage here indicates the lack of awareness on the part of the nonprofits to explore the digital space. Follower size. In this factor, we tried to find an average number of the following which these organizations have on the respective social media channels. In order to avoid the possible data deviation, we calculated the median value for this, and we found out that organizations had the biggest follower base on Facebook, as to be seen in the infographic in front of you, and that was followed by Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Content cohesion. This factor was aimed to give us an insight into how consistently or regularly these organizations are posting on social media channels. We found out that on an average, the non-profits posted at least once in a day, with the most common format being image posts. And here we have the numbers for the other platforms. On Instagram, they posted only once in a week, and on YouTube, they posted thrice in a month. On LinkedIn, it was 4 times in a week, and on an average, a non-profit tweeted once in a week. Effective use of social media. Now, there are certain different features in different social media channels which have to be utilized in order to make an account optimized. And the insights are right in front of you. On Instagram, 12% of the accounts were verified, 55% had the link mentioned in their bio, 82% are using at least one hashtag, and 14% were using geotag. Whereas on YouTube, 71% had a YouTube channel trainer, 84% has segregated their playlists, 39% are using their names in the video titles, only 30% had a thumbnail and were using their website links in their description. Lastly, on Facebook, 19% of the accounts were verified, 67% had updated their contact information, 70% were using call to actions, and none of them had an active response button activated. Involvement of audience. This was a final factor to understand the digital adoption of nonprofits. Through this, we tried to understand the kind of engagement these channels receive in the form of likes. We found out that on Facebook, nonprofits received 10 likes per post on an average, whereas on Instagram, these organizations received around 120 likes per post. Now I'll talk about certain challenges that we identified while doing our research. The first one is that most of these organizations do not have a marketing strategy. Even if they are active on multiple social media channels, their content is not aligned with each other. Next, these organizations are just focusing on posting content for the sake of it and do not invest time in curating content, which could actually be useful and help them provide relevant content to their audience. Third, there are many tools offered by Google and Facebook to the non-profit organizations, but in our research, we barely came across any organizations who was using the same. Fourth, very less number of organizations are exploring the new tools. We found this in our optimization factor as well. Next, these organizations are not at all investing in paid ads, which are even provided to the verified accounts for free, and this may be due to the lack of exposure. Lastly, it seemed like they are not focusing on their analytics as much because they were found out to be following a lead and not getting, even when they were not getting results. Strategies redefined. These have come from the second objective, which was to find approaches through which these organizations can optimize their social media activities. First, using new tools introduced by these social media channels. This is due to one big reason, which is just like any business which wants their new products to grow, these platforms also want that. And hence, the people or organizations who use these are provided relatively more growth. Second, complete optimization of social media. As a primary research also indicated, there are many organizations lacking on various channels just because they haven't set their account right, and this is a very basic thing to do. Hence, keeping a track of the same is very important. Third, non-profits should see if they are eligible for verification. If not, they should try achieve things which can help them achieve a verified account. Lastly, non-profits must stop feeling shy and start using their accounts directly for fundraising because that's the new way of life. Conclusion. As we just saw, most of the reasons behind non-profit organizations not being able to do so well on social media is due to not being able to do the basic things right and not being updated about the social media world around them. Hence, they need to start getting these things right and establish a two-way connection with their audience and ultimately grow their visibility. The best way, in our opinion, that could be to make a notice of their fellow organizations and how they're doing well on social media. Thank you for listening to our thoughts, and once again, thanks to IMC for conducting this event. We hope to participate more in the future.